Hello, and welcome to the section in which we're actually going to finally publish your book. And we're going to do it via the KDP web-based interface. We're going to publish on both Amazon Kindle ebook format and in print-on-demand paperback format via the same interface. And it's basically just a web-based fill-in-the-blank form that defines all the fields that are displayed on Amazon to describe your book. So we're going to create an Amazon product page. And at the same time, we're going to upload your manuscript that you formatted and your book cover. So let's get started. Here I am on my Windows desktop, and I'm going to bring up a browser. That's all you need to access KDP. And I'm going to go to kdp.com. Or actually, it's kdp.amazon.com. And here we're asked to sign in. And by default, we're taken to our existing books display. And the option here is that I can create a Kindle book or a paperback. Now, at the end of creating a Kindle book, you're asked to create a paperback from it. So it makes sense to begin with the ebook. Okay, I actually have to sign in. Okay, so I'll sign in. And here we are. Now, the pages are divided. There are 3 of them. It begins with Kindle book details, where you kind of fill in the textual information. And then we get into the actual book content, where you upload the contents of your book and the book cover. And then we get into pricing and stuff like that in the last page. So let's begin with the first prompt. The language is typically going to be English. You can pick whatever language, and there are many that you can publish in. The book title, we're going to call this, let me see, what are we actually calling this? We're just going to call it GIMP for Beginners. Now, you should have all this information prepared ahead of time. In fact, I like to have it in a text file that I can then just cut and paste. Now, you should have a subtitle, as we know, and this is going to be graphic design. Let's call it easy graphic design. And this is all based on keywords that you're gathering. The series name, let's call it Self-Publishing Made Easy. And we'll make it book number 1. Now, you should always write in a series, so have your series name ready. And I guess you're writing book 1 if you weren't prepared to be writing in a series. The edition number, I always just put in 1. People collect first editions, but this is ebook. I don't know if that's going to prompt them. The author name, that's pretty simple. That's going to be my name. And then I can have additional authors. I recommend that you don't put in additional authors, illustrators, narrators, editors, all this stuff. Make the book seem like it's coming from one person instead of a gang. Nobody likes books by committee, so keep just yourself as the primary contributor. Now, here is where we put the book description. And this should be fully copyrighted. Meaning as in writing copy. You're writing your sales copy here for your book. And in the next lecture, we're going to cover this in more detail. So let's skip the book description and the contents of that for now. Publishing rights. I own the rights, or is it in the public domain? You fill in the right one. And here's the rest of your keywords that go in here. So remember, we're gathering 7 to 10 keywords. Well, here's where your 7 long tail keywords go. Categories. Now, there is a strategy to picking categories that you can actually become a bestseller in. And that usually has to do with picking unpopular categories. In this case, I haven't done my study and research ahead of time. So let's make this, this is actually a nonfiction book. So let's make it nonfiction, computers, and let's see if they have something like computer graphics. There we go. Now I get to pick a second category, I do believe. Yes, up to 2. And I always recommend that you put in as much data as you can. So get that second category in there. And let's go for educational software. I don't know. There we go. So we're going to save those two categories. And these are categories that will come up, if you remember, if you search on Amazon and then pull down categories, you go through, this is a mystery and I want cozy mysteries under that. So it's the menu, the hierarchical menu interface to getting to a book as opposed to the search box. Age and age range really doesn't matter unless you're doing a children's book. Otherwise, I just skip it. And I'm ready to release the book now. I've never done pre-order. It's apparently a very popular thing to do. And this is the strategy behind pre-order. You have books or book ideas that you'd like to produce. And what you do is you send them out, do a description, and send them out for pre-order. And pre-order, your sales on pre-order determine what is your most popular book and what should you be working on. So if you only sell through pre-order one of your, let's say, 3 books, then that's the first one you're going to work on. So that's the strategy for pre-order. I'm going to save and continue. So we're done with this part, and you can see now the Kindle ebook content part of the dialogue has come up. Digital rights management. This is something that's supposed to protect your book from being copied. But in reality, any person that wants to bootleg your book is going to have tools that can break the DRM. So really what you're doing is you're keeping legitimate readers who might have a legitimate reason for copying your book from copying your book. So I always go no. Your book description will display whether DRM is on or not, and I think it's kind of an insult to my readers to have it on. So I always say no DRM. It's not going to stop the heavy-duty thieves anyway. And then this is where you upload your manuscript. You click on Upload Manuscript, and it prompts you for where you want to go. I'm going to go to my Documents directory, and then down to my GIMP for Beginners course, and here's my doc file sitting here ready to go. And I click on that for upload, and it uploads it and does some processing on it. The save was successful. Now notice this was a doc file, which is an older standard. It's a Word 2007 standard, I think. And you can use DocX, the newer standard, if you want. Either one is fine. Next, we're going to do the book cover. And rather than launching the book cover creator, which I think makes hideous covers, we're going to upload our own. So I click on Upload Our Own, and I go to Pictures, Covers Brian, and we want our GIMP cover. There it is. And it's 1600 by 2400. I usually go 2500 these days. That's the minimum that Amazon seems to like. And there's our book cover. And eventually it should show up in this little no book cover uploaded section here to give you a little demo of it. I guess it's not going to in this case. But that's okay. We've got the check mark and we've got the green. We can go ahead. There it is. It popped up. Now, this to me is really important, and I would spend some time here. Rather than using the Kindle Create simulator for reviewing your documents, that's nice to do. I like to launch the real previewer, that's what I call it here, because it gives you an option to download your book to your Kindle, which I take advantage of. I actually hook up my Kindle via USB cable to my computer, and when it says save, I pick the Kindle and I save to my Kindle so that I can actually read the book on my Kindle. The other thing you could do is you can use their simulator here to get a look at what your book is going to look like. So here's the title page, the book cover. That looks great. Here's the title page. Fantastic. Everything's formatted nicely, and you go through page by page. Wow, there's a lot of content in this book. And you make sure that everything's formatted correctly. So you don't have any weird extra spaces. You don't have any blank lines. That everything's breaking well. And check out the book. Now, if you're fine with it, then let me see, book details. We can click on book details and we go back. Are we going back? Yes, we are. And here we are at ebook content. Now, I also wanted to point out that there is, as I say, this option to preview your book on your computer. So you can actually download it to a Kindle. Just hook your Kindle up to your computer via USB cable, and it will show up as a device on your computer. And when you preview on your computer, it gives you that directory listing. Here, let me show you. Preview on computer. Download, install the previewer. Yeah, I got it. Open your book. Oh, download it. I'm going to download it in Mobi because I'm downloading it to my Kindle. I want to show you the little file selector here. There we go. And when I come down here, I'm going to have my Kindle show up as a device. And I just pick it and I save to the Documents directory on my Kindle. And then I can preview it actually on my Kindle, which is really neat. Now, as far as an ISBN, I never give it an ISBN. I don't care. ISBNs are falling out of fashion, but I do give it a fancy publisher name, like Big Oak Press. Sounds like somebody impressive. You can make up any name you want. You can even put your own name. I'm less impressed by an author putting their own name there. Make it look like you've got some big press behind you. And then we say save and continue. Now it goes and checks our page and makes sure that we filled in everything that's required and saves it, and then brings us to the final tab in publishing. And this is where we get into book price and all of that stuff. Now, enroll my book in Kindle Select or KDP Select. I definitely recommend that you do that. And all territories, yes, we own the rights in all territories. And you want to go for 70% royalty. And what allows you to do that is that you price your book between $2.99 and $9.99 and don't offer it any cheaper on any other site. Well, we're not going to publish on any other site other than Amazon. And I'm going to go for the sweet spot on this book and make it $2.99. Now, it will automatically calculate all of these other marketplaces you can see in yen and euros and rupees, how much you're going to be charging in various countries based on trying to match what would be $2.99 in American dollars or US dollars. Now, finally, the match program allows you to say, if you buy the paperback of my book, I will match it, give you a discount on the ebook, and you can either charge 99 cents or make it free. I make it free. So basically, enroll in everything you can to make your book more popular with readers, including the book lending program. You've got to be in that if you're in KDP Select. And it could take up to 72 hours. Finally, when you click this publishing key, which I'm not going to do because I've already published this book on Amazon, your book goes in for review, and it could take up to 72 hours for you to get an email notification as to whether they have any problems. Now, what they're looking for during a review is to make sure your book isn't offensive and so on, that it's formatted correctly, that it doesn't have any massive errors that's going to make it unreadable. And if you just pass just a few things, and you've already gone through your formatting and publishing, so you know you've got this nailed, you should, in 72 hours, within 72 hours, I find most of the time, become a published author. Congratulations. Now, in the next lecture, we're going to talk about how to write copy as far as your book description, how to sell your book through words. So I'm going to give you several techniques, and we're going to write up actually the copy for this book that I'm in the process of publishing. And we'll back up to step 2, which you can do just by clicking any of those boxes at the top and go to a step you want. And we'll refill in the book description. That will bring us one more step to publishing. After we publish, we'll be given the option to publish in print and demand paperback, and then all we do is we sit back and wait for approval and respond to any changes that Amazon wants us to make, and then we're published in both ebook and paperback on Amazon. Yay! So I'll see you in the next lecture where we talk about copywriting.